54th episode of DevKami, and I am Chilio.
And I'm Swee Meng.
Yeah, as you can see, we don't have Tristan here because his internet is busted.
Yep.
So a bit unfortunate. And we actually skipped an episode last week because of a certain inconvenience that all of it had.
Yes.
So, yep, let's proceed to the what is going on these few weeks, within this week.
Yep. So the first thing that happened this week is starting Friday, we had the NASA SpaceX Challenge. The NASA SpaceX Challenge will be a mix of conference and hackathon. So the conference start on Friday, and the hackathon start on Saturday, and both will end on Sunday. Personal opinion: the hackathon, the conference tend to be a general tech conference, which I don't like that much, but they studied and it happened. So this will happen in Magic Cyberjaya over the weekend. And also I will join the hackathon for the NASA SpaceX Challenge. So on Saturday, we have the Law Tech Supernova Hackathon in Summit. This will happen over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And on Saturday again, Magic have a event happening on Run Cloud or Up Cloud Meetup, Malaysia.
What is Run
So
Cloud?
this is when I last checked, Run Cloud is a service to make it easy for you to deploy your web application on the cloud service. So this happens in Magic Cyberjaya on Saturday, 9 to 2 p.m. Then on the same time, IntelliJ had an event on Saturday for their JetBrains user group, and Flutter Study Jam at World TDDI from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So this weekend will be very full. Choose your favorite event.
Yeah.
I'll be at the SpaceX Challenge. This is why you may notice that I post a lot of satellite.
I didn't know about the Flutter one.
Yeah, Flutter one is new to me as well. I didn't know who had that, but it happened. Then on Monday, interesting. Why there's a hackathon summit on Monday? Oh well, I don't know what happened on Monday, but why Monday? But on Monday, the Law Tech My Supernova Hackathon and Summit still happen. Then on Tuesday is DevOps 16. I don't know where it will be held. Because there's no detail, but check out devkami.com/page/meetups. You will see the calendar up there. And on Tuesday, the same time, and then I think that's about it actually.
Yeah.
I think that's about it until Diwali next week.
Diwali is next week?
Yeah, 26. According to Google.
What's the date now? Shit. Okay.
The date now is 17.
Oh, time passes fast.
Yes, indeed.
One more week.
Correct. So then let's see. So what happened for the last 1 week?
Do you want to cover that?
Day.
Yeah, it's pretty quiet last week.
Yeah, we don't have much happening.
There is nothing on the calendar actually.
But I know a lot of us got hit by the Apple iOS update.
Yeah, the Catalina.
I'm holding back my update.
It's actually fine. Actually fine for me, okay. Not for some people. Right. I don't have much of a customization.
Okay.
But there's a minor patch like yesterday. That one took longer than the Catalina upgrade.
Okay. Then Python
3.8.
So Python 3.8 start being work right now.
Yeah. No, 3.8 is available.
Oh, it's not available. So
It's
Python
available.
3.8 is available now.
Yeah, it's
And Django
release
3.0
stable.
beta 1 is out. Cool.
Yeah, I have some complaints about Python 3.8.
I don't like the parameter.
Yes, I don't like the parameter part. Walrus parameter is actually okay because
Awesome.
Python doesn't have the assignment and declaration differences.
Correct.
So that, but the one that for the parameter set like to work at it to indicate whether it's a positional and key value one is I have no idea who the fuck let it.
Yes.
It's not Pythonic. It added a layer of implicit logic into the code. Like people has to it doesn't make sense from outside view, like, or also syntax wise.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. I think it's a bit too weird for me. I'm sorry to say I love Python, but it's not. I'm so sorry, but no. But Walrus operator is awesome. F-string is awesome as well, but that's me.
F-string added.
There's
a lot more
extension.
Yeah, a lot more core enhancement that is not featured.
Correct. So a lot of behind the scene change lah, but at the same time, you also had Django 3.0 beta 1 being released. So a lot of the
for somebody who's I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna just do a bit of like question, like for people that are already on Django, why should I upgrade? Besides,
3.8 will actually is mostly MariaDB support. Now you officially support MariaDB. ASGI support is in Django 3. So ASGI means asynchronous capable application.
So I remember that Whiskey is synchronous. So the problem with most Python framework is actually synchronous. So it's sort of like originally is for interoperability, but it became like the bottleneck for Python.
Correct.
How is it gonna affect the way we do coding in Python in web frameworks with if that supports?
I do not know about this as well, but now they actually have two things that they actually have. They're now aware of asynchronous event loop. So, for example, certain operation like ORM operation, database operation is async unsafe. They will block you to run from running, or they will help you make sure that it's handled properly.
But
so
you
that's
still
the
have
point of using Django.
But you still have to make sure that database driver is async compatible, right?
Correct.
Or Django is actually they did it for you.
Often they do, but they will tell you if certain operation is not async compatible.
So it's gonna complain loudly if you try to use something that is not supposed to be what is meant to be.
Correct.
And I also saw like I'm on the release notes. Apparently, it only supports 3.6 and above.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be gradually phasing out the older version of Python as well.
Correct. It's the Python 3 only have been on the roadmap for a long time, and they choose some of the latest stable of Python. This is standard practice now.
Yeah.
So
and also
yes.
It's just opinion.
Django have been supporting Python 3 for a long while, and they really plan to phase out Python 2 support. So Django 3 will be one of the reasons you should really move to Python 3 right now.
And also each version after 3.5 is pretty big. A lot more features, like you don't need to use the like XNIO coroutine, and you get actually the native reserved keywords of async await in 3.6.
Correct.
So by upgrading it to that, Django can support like some of the more modern syntax of Python, I guess.
Correct, precisely.
If another question is, do you have anything to add first before I proceed?
Not really, but I think field of support is interesting to me. Not big enough for me to move on, but maybe we will if I actually have to support MariaDB. So there's that. Yeah.
How painful is it to upgrade Django?
From my current production, it depends because we have a lot of. I know a few deployment site that jumps from 1.11 to is currently on 1.11. We are not even on 2 yet.
Oh,
so, and 1.11 is still like the LTS for most. So it's effectively LTS. So it is a big jump. But 1.11 is still okay. Most of the time, it's still okay. The one before 1.11 is the really hard one because they add things about handling delete. So whether you foreign key delete and all that.
yeah.
So on database you can have delete cascade and whatnot. Django before 1.11 requires that. 1.11 already have that by default. Then
Okay.
it might be painful.
Yeah.
From 1.11 to 3 might be painful.
I just
Yes.
had a look at the release life cycle.
Yeah.
1.11 is still gonna be supported until 2020.
Yes.
And 2.2 is actually the latest LTS.
Correct. So it will be a while, but just be careful about it. Sometime it might not be that big of code change, but I don't have experience in that yet because I do not have reason to upgrade yet.
What do you suggest?
So
like people sticking with like let's say 1.11 and jump to the next LTS, or you upgrade for. I mean, if you can afford it. I mean, if somebody can afford it, do you suggest like don't jump, like just 1.11 then jump to the next LTS, or you suggest like upgrading for every version, new version
I
release?
suggest LTS. I suggest go to the LTS because between LTS, I have project. Okay, so I'm biased toward my type of project. I project with enough logic where it's safer to go to LTS than the absolutely new feature in Django. So I suggest go through the LTS for new project. Go to the current LTS. But if totally experimental, you have an appetite to experiment, jump to the latest stable. Jump to the latest stable. If you can upgrade. There's the benefit of it is prolong the project cycle. It's just one of those things that why we almost. So the reason we upgrade our software to the latest LTS is so that we can extend the project cycle to get the security support as long as possible. So my suggestion is if you've got new project and if you need help and whatnot, I suggest stick with the latest LTS. If you've got existing project, that's fine, but upgrade to the next LTS if possible. If you're already on the
This is the one that will be very helpful if you have Tristan around, because I have no idea at all like how Rails does it as well.
Correct.
So
so this I think
let's do a bit. We have still a lot of time to do it. For some, do you think it's worth, like for somebody that is not used to Django, do you think it's worth to get started with the like jump into like Django right now? Do you suggest people to? Yeah.
It's a tough one. Because Django is a very traditional way to build web application.
I think it's actually fine.
Most of the time it's fine. So I think Django is fine if you have experience in Python, and it's generally still fine if you're new in Python. But by using Django as a Python beginner, the jump to you are very ahead of a lot of the thing. So, for example, nowadays Django jump directly have classes which have different methods.
Yeah.
They will have things like detail view versus list view. So yeah, suddenly jumping to the reason why there is inheritance. There's a very big jump ahead, right? Uh, but Django had the best documentation around. So and in a way they have easier support in a way that they will tell you that you should use this for you should use a model. Why? Then for model you should use form. But if you use form, then there is the tutorial shows you the progression really well. So it's not too bad actually. It's really not too bad. Uh, and feature wise, Django have enough features enough feature that you can literally it's almost a CMS, right? It's almost a CMS, but it doesn't build anything for you out of the box. So you really have to still build your list view and whatnot. And also for documentation, Django is some of the best documentation in the Python community. That's my opinion on
Yeah.
that. Some people might disagree, but
Are there any
Django
like
documentation is
alternative,
top
like
notch.
for let's say I'm gonna go back to web programming in Python? Like
Uh,
used to be more choices around, but it seems to be like nowadays there's only Django. I mean, for big enough framework, there's only Django around, or is there something
Correct.
that I've been missing? No.
Django is a big one.
There's
Pyramid is a reasonable one.
yeah.
It's supposed to be micro, but they have a lot of the plugin ready to use.
Yeah.
I know people like it. I never used it
Yeah,
personally.
I'm a pyramid user.
Yeah.
Was a pyramid user, but the point with that is the good thing is that because of the merger of the project of previous like repost, which is a
Uh-huh.
Zopace consultant firm. So
Mhm.
the original things that pyramid was designed is supposed to interrupt with whatever Zope component that you've developed previously.
Yeah.
But I think that is the
Okay.
limiting factor as well, because I've been trying to upgrade some of my old pyramid project,
Mhm.
and a lot of those components they can't or they didn't upgrade to Python 3, so they are dead in the
Right.
waters.
Uh, so for Python web development, Flask is also reasonable.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a bit bad, but they have enough plugin for you to do something similar to what Django have done. So I think, unfortunately, currently, as of currently, if do web development, Django is
There's only one big
yeah
one.
one big one. I don't like it, but it is what it is. Uh, and because it's also by default the way you do Django nowadays is that you have the Django stuff plus you will get a REST framework. Now you've got yourself API services ready to use. Then
Yep.
you just slap it on with your front end. Then you have a website.
So let's
Uh,
move to the topic of today.
yes,
What happened last
yes.
week?
So I go to Kayla. Just kidding. I didn't actually go to Kayla. I go to Singapore for Python conference. Python Singapore 2019. It's a Python conference, of course, in Singapore. I go there. I try to go there every year because unlike other previously as of last year, uh, no, as of 2 years back, we don't have other Python conference in Southeast Asia other than Malaysia and Singapore. Last year, we had a conference. Beginning to have a conference in Indonesia and Philippines, even Thailand. Thailand began to happen. Uh, so that happened late last year. toward the late last year. But Singapore is easier because I can literally take a bus, even though I fly this time. So it's one of those things that I try to go every year because I try to learn what they have over the community down there, which I find really interesting. So first thing I want to talk about is the trend, right? The trend for Python in Southeast in Singapore and Malaysia is not too different. Data science heavy. It's data science heavy. It's AI heavy. I don't like it, but people keep using that. Less of ops, less of web development. Sorry. So the trend is similar uh, across these two countries. I cannot comment about Philippines, Indonesia, or in Thailand. What else we have? So deep learning is big. People try to do things with deep learning on it. I did not go to the deep learning talk. I go to the operations talk. When I say operations, talking about logging, talk about debugging, Elastic APM, and what else? Greylock. So the first thing, because it's one of the config that I don't actually run, so I got time to actually catch up on this, and I kind of missed out a few things along the way. So, any question you want to ask about Python Singapore before I move on?
Nope, I have no idea what to ask.
Okay. The first thing about the first day is actually the keynote is actually about AI Singapore, which I find really interesting. So AI Singapore is not a government initiative to do everything. It's funded by government with help of grassroots and supported by the industry. So how they do is they actually try to work at a few layers. You have one of the things they focus on the first keynote is actually how to build up the skill, of AI in Singapore. Well, I do not know the result for real yet. I find the approach very interesting because one of the things they focus is on industry have problem. They're going to say like this is a focus group. So this group in Singapore focus on AI will be the group to talk to. They will talk to them. Then depends on the problem. The problem is a bit more complicated. They will actually work with the academics, which are doing AI research to actually solve the problem. If it's something more industry, then they have people that are trained by them. So their train is we're talking about things similar to boot camp. Where people from the industry go in to learn the tools like TensorFlow, scikit-learn, and whatnot. From data science to actual machine learning applications, algorithm applications. So what happened then is the industry companies comes in, they work as a project and have a product. Then at the end of the day, they have product within their organization, and then they hire surgical students. So the approach of growing skill set is one, training people from ground up. That's a bootcamp way. Two, have link with the academia so that they have the best.
Do they have criteria for the selection, or they must be fresh, or it doesn't matter like students or somebody, as long as somebody applies to it, you'll be qualified for the selection?
For them, they can only select Singaporean. Otherwise, it'll be like as long you can have the basic programming, basic maths. If I can handle these two, and you can join. The third one that they also raise is when you go in, you must code. I mean, for me, it's like, of course, we have to, right? The reason for that is because a number of people are interested. Apparently, there's people that just want to go in to learn the big idea and not actually do the so-called dirty work of coding and whatnot. But you know who's saying that we have like a few episodes
Yeah.
back, precisely the same demography of people. So you just need to know maths and willing to learn. So it's the same demography, except and you essentially the whole program aim to produce something like aim for someone like Zulkifli, but ends up like him in a code camp, practice and whatnot. So it's part apprenticeship, part training, and part industrial growth. So I find this really interesting because uh, so in Malaysia, when somebody say we have an initiative for some big idea, it's almost like we work with company and that's it.
Yeah.
We buy product and that's it. And whereas for our grassroots group, we will do codecamp and that's it. We don't have we don't
It's
look
just to
up to
prove that
academia.
it's just we just do stuff to prove that we did it. Like check.
Yes,
It seems to
uh,
be like checking boxes.
partly true and partly that among community that we know of, we often just do one thing. Whereas I like AI Singapore that cover a few things: industry, people, and research. Right?
Yeah.
Uh,
And they are
for some
trying
that they don't,
to figure out
yes,
like the sort of problems that industry has as well.
yes, precisely. They do not talk to the industry, and they talk to the industry that we have a problem, what kind of problem they have, whether they apply it or whatnot, and industry do approach them. Uh, Problem with us as a for grassroots group that we know of that actually try to do work, we don't have the resource, and we don't have a focus group. We don't have a focus group, and so we don't have resource in a way that we do not have academia that actually do things that we can ask, and we do not have the money to do training and whatnot. We can do conference, and that's it. Which we do pretty well. I think we should continue, and I think that's still very useful. But the industry doesn't come to us. We are not a focal point. And we do not have the source of money. Whereas the government, sometimes they just do it because they want it fast and it's check boxes. It occurs to me, but I do not know how government work. In between, there's people that try to talk about companies and funding. That's fine, but we need also precisely what AI is going to do: building skills, have a focal point, and work with industry. So I think that is what we lack, and actually that is one model we should steal. But I'm personally still on the grassroots level, so we do not actually have the resource for that. But I hope I can steal some idea to help build things up when everybody is on the technology development side is a bit noisy. So that's the first one about AI Singapore. So anything else you want to ask me before I move on? Any question online?
No, no question online.
Okay, so the second keynote, I don't. It's okay in a way that it's how insurance companies use data science to do things, prediction and all that. For people that don't understand how insurance industry work, they do the basic of why you need a data science. Essentially, go down to a lot of it is like reducing loss or increasing profit. All data science project is about that. Okay. Uh, So the difference is how do you handle the sector? So for example, how do you make sure the claim is correct, is real and whatnot? If you read our bloggers and whatnot, you should get the idea already. So it's mostly about application. But the last keynote, the Singapore conference, PyCon is interesting. They've got three keynote. On the second day, evening, there's a talk by Rich Jones. He's the creator of Zappa. Zappa is a Python library to make it easy for you to deploy your code in a serverless environment.
Yeah.
Uh,
Belajar Python's bot is actually deployed using Zappa.
I should tell him that. Goodness.
Amiro.
Yeah. So, uh, But what he talked about the future of Zappa and whatnot, that's cool. But I think the second part, the one that is interesting, in a company, in a situation where company do not always work for you, i.e. Amazon, what you can do. So one of the things that he tried to work on is a library called Fashion. Fashion is a library similar to Zappa, but targeting open FAS, FAAS. And the big idea here is that it may be hard. Setting up Kubernetes or whatnot might be hard, but it might worth it to learn or use tools to deploy our own function as a service, serverless in our servers and whatnot. Uh, and it might be a good thing to do that instead of just digesting it because technology exists, software exists. The toolkit might not be easy yet, but it's something that you should work doing. So you start from there, then you expand toward things like distributed networking. For example, what's the name of the distributed networking for files again?
Ceph.
Something along the line of
From
distributed
whom?
hash table. Huh?
From whom? Which
Okay,
company
remember
owns it?
remember where engineers my save copy of Linux journal?
IPFS.
IPFS. So you talk about IPFS and various server distributed technology. That's another one she's talking about. So what I call is that we should really explore. We should really explore different approach and not just digest technology. I find that really interesting. So that's a short keynote of Python. And sometimes, so I think it's a bit of a mix, but I got something out of it. Then the last one is the talk, and mostly go to the more practical talk. It's a bit boring, but it's useful. For example, how do you use Docker to debug a code? That's why that you can use Docker to actually freeze a state on the Python code.
Yep.
That is new to me, but I learned something out there.
You can use it.
And old school.
You can use it like VM.
Yeah. So yes, and also because Docker kind of force you to go as minimal as possible, so it make it debugging easier. So I say easy slowly because it's not really that easy. You really need to do your stuff. So it's not easier automatically.
You should do a workshop again. I actually covered that in one of the workshop many years ago.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I might do that.
Seeing that from scratch is actually very helpful.
Yep. Then I go through a few things on Greylock. Greylock is a logging system on top of. It's something on the side of Elasticsearch, not on top. They work together in parallel because they actually store in MongoDB. That indexed by Elasticsearch. So this and Greylock and Elastic APM is interesting to me because I'm a bit out of it when it comes to monitoring. So it's crazy to me that nowadays you have to rely on Elasticsearch, but you get a lot more capability. So interesting to me. Then the rest is mostly like miscellaneous tech talk. So GPT and all that, most of us that we are already know. So which goes to my last thing about Python conference in Singapore. Skill-wise, we are not our community, our small community, are not too bad actually, believe it or not. It's not automatically means that people outside Malaysia are bad. They are actually comparable across people in Singapore, but but it doesn't mean that Singapore conference is bad. It's not. It's comparable, but it's different, and that's the important part. It's different because it's the same category but different topic. which made all this conference worth doing. But going on your own budget because I don't want you to go broke from going to a conference. But let's say I think I got good experience meeting with friends and all that. So yeah. Oh yeah, announcement. Uh, for the net, I have 3 copies of designs by Julia Evans and
The cute
Bob
stickers.
booklet. I'll share it later, maybe on Genius Mind. I will distribute it to 3, uh, because I got 3 extra, I might give it to 3 different meetups, but I won't keep giving it to the hackathons. I might go into actual meetups there, I don't know, whatever I be. But it will be, I will let the organizer decide how to give, but you might get it, one of you people might randomly get it. I'll share the photo later, but I left it downstairs. So I got some booklet there, which is very good. So yeah, that's PyCon Singapore 2019. So anything else you want to know about?
Anything outside activity that you did?
Oh,
Anything
yeah, I went to,
interesting that you visited?
so I went to 3 places as a tourist. The first one is actually Garden by the Bay. A bit expensive, but it's worth it. So in Garden by the Bay, I go to. It's actually a big area. It's a whole big area. It's a whole big reclaimed area. Contains multiple gardens and the big trees. Uh, so I go to the 2 dome, Flower Dome and Cloud Forest in the evening. Cloud Forest is interesting. Cloud Forest is actually a whole dome. Inside it is actually a big tower and waterfall. They try to simulate a different environment of forest, very beautiful and whatnot. Also, they bring some exotic plant, which is why they need to isolate it because not all the plants are native in Singapore, and this even the region, so they need to cover it. It is a very beautiful garden and whatnot with all the nice flower. I find it a bit weird in the way that after I go all the way up, then once you go down, they have the whole show about conservation and whatnot, uh, about preserving environment, use less, all that. I just think it's a bit weird because you build a whole building of glasses and whatnot, close up the tree. Whereas when you build up the whole area, you can build a small mangrove forest, you see, which is actually native in Singapore, which actually help the environment. Do you understand the part?
Yeah, the
And
irony of
it's around the
that.
same. Yeah, that to me is the ironic part, because to me a small mangrove forest is but it doesn't look as
It
nice.
doesn't look nice, doesn't smell nice, but it's an ecosystem.
Yeah, and that actually real action, you see, and believe it or not, build a part to it. Kids were still impressed by it, and it's still very. The marketing impact is the same. Okay, marketing impact is still the same. Really properly. If Singaporean can fall in love with a bunch of otters, which by the way swim across a garden by the bay, they can fall in love with a swamp forest. So that's another part. Then the second part is actually uh, the the flower dome. It's a bit artificial, but then so it's a big garden. It's very beautiful. What I don't like about the part is not the flowers, but it's very nice. Everything is done well. They even have trees that grows apples. Can you believe it? Apples inside. I should show again. I should show this in DevKami social media. You should have a Twitter account. Okay, back to it. Um,
Just use the Facebook one.
yeah. Uh, what's interesting about that one is that a lot of people take photo of themselves with the flower. It's a whole people doing it for social media. That kind of ruins it for me, but the flower is really beautiful. Roses, tulips, apples at different regions. It's actually very well done. Then finally, you got the whole tree. That's the sky tree in Gardens by the Bay. Sky tree is interesting to me because you have trees, you can get good view, and at night around 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. You get light show. So it's music and light
So
everywhere.
did you stay around
Yeah, I
until
stay
night?
around. Yes. Actually, it's from 5 to 8, so why not? I have nothing to do. Uh, so that is one reason why I did not do DevKami last week. I
Yeah.
was so tired the day before. But it's interesting that everybody literally sit down on the floor under the sky tree and watch the show, which is free, by the way. Uh, that's the thing about Singapore. If a group of citizens feel that they're safe enough to sit on the floor and enjoy the show, they do something right. Despite the
Yep.
fact that we like to trash talk each other's food.
Yeah.
So, but
It's the
that's how
same
you can feel the
cultural.
environment.
It's the same cultural
Yes,
region. Anyway.
correct. So that's Garden by the Bay. Then the second place I go is Kaki, tourist area, drinks and all that. I don't like it as much. The river is nice though. So that's what. But the last one I want to talk about is actually Jurong Bird Park. Jurong Bird Park is interesting because they have a very strong emphasis of conservation. So compare this. So what they do is they actually put a strong emphasis that they actually breed birds. I don't think they do it. I think so. The thing is, one of the bird they're focused on is actually a species of chicken that's almost extinct in the wild. They're wild chickens, so they breed them around. But the second thing they're really focused on is the Prince macaw. The Prince macaw is a blue parrot, native in South America, extinct in the wild, right? Uh, so I have slight don't like simply because we have a lot of native species in this region that bird saving, but Prince macaw is really beautiful and extinct in the wild. So yeah, my so not my call, but one thing they did really do right is the fact that they had a very strong focus on conservation. So, for example, they are proud that they actually managed to breed the hornbill in Singapore. So, hornbill is an endangered species in the wild
Yeah.
due to deforestation and whatnot.
Yeah. We have them in TTDI.
Yes, but there is no conservation effort.
Yeah.
Whereas
And
in Singapore,
they want to take down a place and build condos.
yes. In Singapore, what they do is they build up boxes so that they can the nest will be similar to how they do it in the wild. Turns out that for the hornbill, what they do is that they like to make the female will go into the hole, build it up, and seal the hole.
Yep.
And then they build a nest. So you will see the moth come out to the hole. The male will feed.
Yeah.
That's
why I
the food
read.
and the baby together. And they actually
yeah.
do it. So the cool part is not just they show the box during the bird show. They had a whole show, very well done. They actually showed that the hornbill, train and all that. They show them that the female live in the nest, then the male feed them. So it's very well done as a show. Compare this to KL Bird Park. KL Bird Park is big and they have all the birds free roaming, but the thing is they do not spread the message of conservation.
Yeah.
Which I think is pity because
in a way,
this organization.
in a way,
Yes.
is I try not to like doubt the effort, but in a way, like they give the birds enough freedom, but
Correct.
if there's no awareness or a sense of emergency, then people actually won't be, I mean, taking great deal of interest or
Correct.
following up or helping up with this conservation efforts.
Yes, precisely. Chances is KL Bird Park and all that do conservation work, but they do not spread the right message across. It ends up as just a tourist spot, which I think is sad because uh, they do help local species thrive. So it's not just somewhere you will sit down and take photo. Uh, Jurong Bird Park did it a lot better in this regard. You do not get as big as an open area, but you do get a strong message for conservation. And the message I've done so well. I've done so well. I'm so close to buying the plushie just to support the effort. I don't have place at home for this, but yeah, but I'm that close to doing that. But either way, I messed up in the way that I should use the tram more because I literally walked around. I got so tired. I missed the last two spots. The one about bird. There's a colorful bird. I forget the name. And then the last one is the hornbill nests that they do the conservation in. So, but yeah, I think it's very cool. It's a very cool event, a very cool place. Expensive, but worth going. And I think as tech people, we should really expand our world, not just software. We should see
Yeah.
the world.
Because what we are supposed to do is to solve real world issues. We cannot be really disconnected. Then you become doing software for the sake of doing it. Of course, there's no problem with it. Like there are a lot of
Yes.
like code golf and stuff, like doing tech for the sake of tech. But if you
Yes.
like they're trying to like change the world, software itself doesn't really change it. I mean, unless we know the kind of issue we are solving.
Correct. So yeah, that's my Singapore misadventure. Also, next time you go Singapore, if you try to go within a set 14 days or so, try to get a thing called the digital entry card. So when you go Singapore, Malaysia, you have to fill the entry card before you go in. It's a white paper they have fill in. Get this app called the electronic entry card. It saves your time a lot. So when I go to immigration, they literally
Is there a new thing for them?
yes, it's a new thing. It's still in beta. It's still in beta. But what you do is they don't even look at your number. Once they get your passport, they get enough information to go through. So in a way that they do not need to get the paper from you because there is already on database and whatnot. So it's very convenient. And literally, just for passing the immigration itself is a lot smoother because then you don't have to read the card and whatnot. So do that next time if the program is still on. So yeah, that's my Singapore misadventure for you. So anything online, any question? No.
No, not that I know of. People are impressed.
Okay. All right. So any comment? I didn't look at the message yet.
Message is Nicholas say, "Wow, very good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
My big thing is I don't have the opportunity to set up I set up a what's the name of it called? I don't have time to set up a broadcast and interview. I kind of like go too crazy.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, let's see how. Yeah. This always takes time.
A bit of update since there's a bit of time, so I'm gonna take some time for myself.
Yeah.
A bit of update is I'm gonna reduce the effort. It's not that we're closing up the podcast and also Engineers Mind. It's just that I'll be reducing recording works. It's mainly because I think it's there's enough people trained to go around. So if not, the equipments are there that that's actually scales beyond just one person. We
Mhm.
almost have pretty much like 2 full sets, and basically if you want to stretch, yeah, because say is no one is watching. We're
Yeah.
gonna stretch. We have 3 sets, but I want to focus on back to doing more tags workshops and
Mhm.
get back to speaking in meetups instead of recording it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes, Nicholas, you are watching. Thank you very much.
Yes. You're not nobody.
Yeah, you're not nobody.
You are nobody.
Yeah.
Sorry. Time Bunny's thing is, I like the message, but it's confusing. But they just
Yeah. So anything we want to add?
no. I got a feeling next week. Next week I might talk about the Space Air Hackathon.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm in there, so why not? I might not do a hacker. I might not do interview. I definitely won't do interview because I want to focus on
Yeah,
hacking.
just do some like summary of what happened, what is interesting, and what's the takeaway.
Yeah. Chances is I might cover about space related data set and API because I already did that outside of
Yeah.
DevKami. So maybe I could do that, but that's next week.
Yeah. I think
So
that's
yeah,
about it for today.
yeah, we might end early. Yes.
Yeah, we can end early. Yeah.
So if there's nothing on YouTube, I think we can wave
Starting.
our
Yeah.
hand there. So
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, that's something we can bring offline. Yeah. Because
Yes.
yeah, recording. Uh, yeah, we can bring offline.
Yes.
Yep. Bye, folks. Remember to like and
Yes.
subscribe. Yeah.
Yes. Cute and cuddly, like
Yeah.
the penguins in Jurong.
Yeah.
So yeah, bye.